One of the most significant features about the new 2.0 software update for Maschine is the drum synth. And this is a really interesting new addition because it allows you to get in and do some sound design to create some drum sounds. Really flexible engines, and I haven't had a lot of time with them. So this is part discovery. We're going to go through and explore some of the parameters, and part demonstration as well. So I've got it ready. On the Maschine hardware, we're going to push Shift and browse. You'll see underneath the sampler, which is what used to be on Maschine, we've now got the addition of the kick, the snare, hi-hat, tom and percussion. Each one of these has its own custom engine designed for sound design in that particular category of drum sounds. And I just want to draw your attention on the left hand side, because the attributes section here, this is important. If you're only just getting used to the 2.0 software update, you want to know about this. The moment internal on the left hand side means this is the elements that we have within Maschine software. If we go to NI, this is going to be your complete instruments, if you have some. If you haven't bought complete, you get, I think it's Prism. There may be something else. I really haven't familiarized myself with the freebies if you don't have complete. Okay, so that's where the instruments are. And also, if you flip over to external, this would be your third-party devices. Okay, there are also the option to switch the subtype to effect. So this would be if you actually want to work with effects. So in this case, we're going to go back to instrument. We're going to make sure it's internal, and we're going to dive in with the kick drum. So we're going to take it off of the browse, and this is it. So the kick drum is very much an analog sounding kick. This really sounds like an 808 kind of vibe. And what I want to do is just going to switch this. You may have seen me do this before. I'm going to hold down the key mode and then the pad mode. And then I'm going to click on fixed velocity. So this means it's going to be maximum. So it doesn't matter how hard I'm tapping it. So that's just so I get clarity when I'm working with this. Now what I want to do is just explore some of this, the parameters. And I want you guys to see this on the software. So I'm just going to push tab. And by the way, once again, Shift plus Navigate is your toggle switch on the hardware. And you can see the drum synth, the interface here. So the GUI is basically showing a bunch of parameters. It's got a real nice graphical feel to it. The hardware itself is stripped down to these numbers and the names. And that's exactly the same on the Maschine Studio as well. Okay, so what have we got? We've got the engine here. I'll tell you what I'm going to do to make life easier for myself on the demo. Is I'm going to program the kick in. All right, so just going to get the metronome on by Shift and play, and we're going to record in. And take the metronome off, quantize. So, just going to stop that. So we got ourselves a reasonably lengthy kick drum. So let me just dive in. We're going to look at decay. All right, so this is going to allow us to adjust the length. Let me just turn it down my side as well. So here we go. So you can hear that. It's a shorter sound. Bear in mind when you're working with tracks, if you've got a really long kick drum, it can sometimes be hard to work your bass in. This is great because we've got full control. The advantage of using this engine over samples is that if you've got a sound, you can lengthen it or shorten it without affecting anything at all. Obviously with samples, if you want to lengthen a sound, you could use time stretch, or you could take the pitch down. But if you want to keep the pitch the same and lengthen the sound, you're going to get more control by doing it this way. So anyway, that's the decay. We've also got the tuning here, so the pitch. So we can go down in pitch. Remember, we can hear sounds from 20 Hertz to 20 kilohertz. This goes down to 31 Hertz. And when it's down this low, you might want to add the bend. So it's adding the pitch modulation. There's also another set of controls here related to that. So this is the time it takes to go from high to low pitch. If we have a long decay, you're really going to hear that. So in essence, what's going on with this section is that you're getting that punch at the front of the sound by adding the pitch bending. So really this is literally high to low pitch, and the time over here is showing that basically how long it takes to go from high to low. And this is purely the actual decay of the sound, so how long does the sound last for. So it's kind of like a volume time, all right? So that's sounding like a good solid analog kick. There's something else we can do. You see the engine here. I'm going to switch. So we've got Tronic. A very different texture. It's got a real bright kind of punchy transient at the front. So it sounds quite bright. And this feels a little bit more like a kind of FM kind of sound to me. Yeah, interestingly, with the impact, it's got this kind of clicky transient, louder, becomes more of a dull thud. So that's an interesting one. Dusty. Now, I was playing around with this earlier and I really like the flavor of this. So here we go. There's a real character there I like. Now, you can hear there we've got a noise generator, so this is like white noise. You turn that up, it's going to get that noise kind of character on the kick. And that impact, once again, is adding this kind of punchy transient on there. Filter is a low pass filter. There's something really magical about that sound. When the filter's open, there's a really interesting texture. So do you know what? I'm going to go with that. So that's my first kick drum. Now, it's quite often that I use a collection of kicks, so I'm going to do another one. So we're going to tap on the second pad, shift and browse, and we're going to come down to kick again. So what I want here is something that's a contrast, so something different. I don't know what I want. Let me just play this. I'm going to record something in. Going to put some swing on. Okay. Now that one's feeling a little bit long. I quite like it, but I want it to be really kind of almost like a little kind of hit just before the next hit. There we go. I'm going to bring the volume up on that pad. Yeah, I like that. That's working well. And I actually really fancy something that's a bit of a contrast as well. So another one. So the third kick drum, shift plus browse, come down to kick. And I'll tell you what I want to do here, something a bit more kind of obvious as a note. I'm going to take the decay out long, take the pitch bend up, the modulation for that, and the time longer as well. Okay, let's not have the noise on there. I quite like that. Maybe go down lower. Okay, I'm going to adjust this. Okay, that's nice. I've got this real kind of fat bottom end. I just want to experiment. Something that I've done in the past is to basically take kick drums and put them on the same group. So this means that only one of these sounds can play at once. That means those long decays are going to go. There's going to be no overlapping, which is going to make it a lot easier to mix. Okay, I'm not sure that I really want this one to be as short as that. Yeah, so that's cool. Right, let's move on to another sound. Let's go and let's take a look at the clap. So shift plus browse again, and the claps are contained within the snare drum synth option. So there's a clap. I'm going to record it in and we're going to play around with the parameters. Right, let me solo and let's have a play around. So, decay. The length of the sound, it almost seems to be introducing additional hits, almost like more people clapping. Now the focus is interesting, so when you go to low values, it's almost blurring everything together. It's more punchy and clear as you increase the focus, so that's an interesting name. I think somewhere around here is sounding good for me. Room, bit of reverb. I really like the looseness when you get to the larger decay. And tuning, pitch. See how that sounds now? Sorry, wrong button. Now this sound is too loud. Okay, wicked, that's sounding really nice. It's got a real kind of raw flavour to it. Let's go to another sound. Let's get a hi-hat. So shift and browse. Let's go to hi-hat. Take this off. Now that sounds like an 808 style hat. Just going to experiment. Kind of FME. Well, it sounds like a Roland 909 sample actually. And what about here? Source. This is interesting. I'm liking that. If I take that down, let me try this in there. Just going to adjust this. Okay, I like that with that longer decay on there. Let me just have a quick listen to the gate. I'm going to leave that off for the moment because I'm going to go to another pad. Let me just take the solo off that. The next pad, I'm going to do the same again. Shift plus browse. We're going to come down to hi-hat. And let me get the same kind of engine. But I'm going to take decay shorter. So it's like a closed hat now. And let's see. Pad mode. This one, group 2. This one, group 2. So they're going to be locked together. That means the closed hat is going to basically stop the open hat from playing when that's going on. It's going to cut it short, which is going to be interesting. Let me just have a play around. Okay, now that messed up with the programming and I haven't got myself familiarized with how to edit the programming on the controller. So I'm just going to do this on the software. Going to bring this one back. So let's have a listen. That's sounding good. But let me just, this one's still feeling too loud. Now that's good. Do you know what? I'm thinking maybe I need to get one of those snares in. So shift plus browse. Let's come down to snare. Yeah, nice real snappy, short. Let's open this up. Interesting. just have a look. That sound, I like it, but it needs some work. Kind of like another clap. Some pitch modulation. Yeah, that's working nice. And let's get some percussion on the go. Let's go to the next pad, Shift plus Browse, and let's have a look at this one. Right, so that's like a 808 cowbell kind of vibe. Kettle, interesting, like a kettle drum. Shaker, nice. I like this. Realistic, what else we got? Machine. Yeah, I like it. Gonna speed that up a bit. Yeah, maybe. Let's just have a look. Yeah, that's good. Let me get some more percussion on the go. This is good fun. What else? This is almost becoming like a clave. Yeah. I like that sound, but you know what? I want to add something to that. So we're going to go and push the button over here so we get a free slot. Shift plus Browse. We're on the effects now. And maybe a bit of reverb. Yeah, wicked vibe, really nice. Finally, I want to check out the tom. So we're on the sound here, Shift plus Browse. You can see we've gone back to the effects here. So subtype, let's go to instrument and let's load up a tom. See what we got. Wow, that's like a 909. Okay, you can hear the tuning change. Interesting. That's nice. Let's try the impact higher. That's great. What else we got here? Some FM style parameters. So yeah, wow. So yeah, basically that's a lot of fun. As you can see, getting in there, the ability to really play around and get flexible with the sound design here is great. And remember, the real strong point of this is if you're working with a track and your musical elements are being worked in, you can always tune your elements here so that everything sits together nicely. Definitely going to be one of the most significant new features inside here. Certainly don't be afraid of it. And I know that Native Instruments put together some really great sounds inside some of the kits that are specially set up to use the drum synth. So have a look through the groups library, the kits library, and you'll see a bunch of those.